I recently went to Vegas for a conference. Now, this conference was all about hypnotherapy. Now, I didn't go there so that I can learn how to hypnotize you to get you to cluck like a chicken, but I did go there because two of my mentors, my coaches, women that I've been following for years, who I've been learning from, taking their programs, just happened to be offering a 2-day conference there before the hypnotherapy big conference. And even though I am not a fan of Vegas, for me, it just kind of represents yuckiness. And I've been there a couple times for other reasons. I don't gamble, I don't drink. God, I sound boring, but that's not the point. The point is, Vegas is kind of like, ooh, my worst nightmare. But because I love these women so much, I went to Vegas in the July heat where it was 1,000 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. It was 1,000 degrees. And if you stood too long on the hot, hot cement, your shoes would melt into the ground. It was insane. But the reason that I went because of meeting these two ladies in person. Now, when they offered this, I thought, oh, I want to go because I love these people so much. And I hesitated and I put it off and I procrastinated. And then finally, a couple of days before the conference was happening, when I hadn't booked anything, I went on to one of the girls, or I saw a post from one of the girls on Instagram, and she said, look, just be spontaneous, shake up your life a little bit, come and hang out with me. We'll do hugs and selfies and we'll talk about all the things. Just come to Vegas and hang out with me. And that was the post that got me to buy my tickets. When I was there, there was a 2-day conference from 9 to 5, and we had a couple breaks in there. And one day we were on our lunch break, and I'm just in a hotel room, so I didn't have any food, and I don't want to eat the food in the restaurants. I want to try to eat something as healthy as possible. So I decide to go outside. Now, what happens is when you're inside, the air conditioning is pumping, and it's actually very cold inside. So as soon as there's a break, I go outside into the sunshine because I'm solar powered. So I want to recharge my batteries, and I'm going to go try and find some food. So I go from freezing out into the heat. The good thing is it takes me 5 minutes to thaw out. And then after another 5 minutes, it's no good anymore because it's so hot. But I needed to find some food. And out of my hotel window, I saw a general store and I saw a Walgreens. So first I went into the general store, and all that they had in the general store was a whole bunch of junk food, and half the store was booze. Okay, so there was no fruit or vegetables to be had. And then I went to the Walgreens. In my brain, I'm thinking Walgreens is like Walmart. No, Walgreens is a drugstore. And all they had was medications and all the fun stuff. But they had one little cooler at the front of an aisle, and it had like a little package of 2 hard-boiled eggs, a thing of cheese, an apple, sliced apple, and a little thing of peanut butter. And they had cups of cut up fruit. So I'm thinking, I hit the jackpot. This is so good, because that's the best I was going to get from where I was, because I couldn't really walk anywhere. And then I bought that, and I asked the lady, where can you get fruit? And she said 7-Eleven. And somebody else had told me, I think 7-Eleven has fruit. It was funny because as I left the building to go outside, I ran into just a couple people from the conference. Like, we all have our name tags on, so that's how you know. But I was kind of in the mood the whole time I was in Vegas to talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime about anything. I find that I'm an introverted extrovert, or I'm an extroverted introvert. I have both of those qualities, but I'm not sure which one I am the most. But in this moment, in this Vegas moment, I was just super curious, because I'm figuring out what makes people tick, what makes our subconscious brain work. And so I loved talking to everybody that I came across. So when we went out on our break and I was searching for food, I chatted up the girl with the straight, short haircut and the super cool cat glasses. And she didn't know, but she did tell me that Walgreens was a drugstore and not a grocery store. And then this is like within one block. And then I talked to this other woman who had no idea. She didn't know where to find any snacks around there. And then I talked to another woman from the same class that I was in who was like walking down the street smoking her joint. And then life was good for her, except till she realized that she had forgotten her phone. But she didn't go rushing back. She didn't really care because at this point she was super high and life was good. But she also said, go to 7-Eleven. And 7-Eleven, I did go there and they had bananas. I got my bananas and I got my fruit and I got my eggs. So life is good. And I went back to the hotel tea. It's funny because I went in the back way and it was like literally one block, but the back way took longer. So because of the heat, for 5 minutes, it takes you to unthaw. And then you have 5 minutes before you dehydrate and shrivel up into a raisin and die. And that's what I felt like. My hotel was farther than I thought. I was running out of steam. I'm like, this is how it ends. I'm going to die on this street. Cars will just be driving around me. But spoiler alert, I made it back to the hotel. I did not die. And I met up with other people to eat my fruit that I had just hit the jackpot on. And just chatted with these people who are digital nomads and people that had been in some of the programs that I've done before, somebody from Glasgow. I was just in my curious phase. Curiosity was just oozing out of me, and it was so fun and easy to have conversations with people. Every time I was in the elevator, I made a point of just saying one sentence to somebody. And by the time I left the elevator, it felt like you had made a new friend. It didn't matter who you were, where you're from, just chatting to everybody. The reason I'm telling you this story is because I feel like this is so much like what midlife is all about, trying to figure out who we are. And when I talk about the introvert and the extrovert, sometimes you could think like, how can you be introverted and extroverted? And the answer is, anything is possible. Our life, our existence, who we are, we're just making it up as we go along. And when we do, the reason I want to do it's called hypnotherapy, but I'm talking about understanding the unconscious, subconscious brain. That's what makes more sense for me. And when I do that with my clients, we can understand where you are and get you to where you want to go. But you don't even need to know the why you're like this or how this happened. That's irrelevant because that's in the past and it doesn't matter. But what we do want to focus on is, how do you want to feel instead? What do you want to create instead? And that's where the magic happens. And that's where my mentors are just absolute magicians at the subtleties of body language. Because I always believe your body has all the answers. And so the body language tells everything. And our words are literal. And so when people are saying certain words, I listen very, very closely. So I'm watching what people are doing and I'm listening to what people are saying because I want to get into the depths of their subconscious, because they're not aware that that's what's running the show. They just do it because they've always done it, just like brushing your teeth. You never think about, how am I going to brush my teeth? You just brush your teeth and then before you know it, you're like, whoa, what? I brushed my teeth, because it's on autopilot, and that's the subconscious. And the subconscious is created by all the experiences and people that we met in the past, usually 100% by the people that we spend the most time with. So that's our parents, our family, our teachers, our communities. And when something isn't working for us, that's where we want to change what isn't working. So like I said before, we don't need to go into the trauma. We don't need to go into the cause of it, but we want to light up that in your brain and then create, how do you want to feel instead? So we want to look to what the possibility is. And it's possible because we created the past. We created our subconscious. it's just we're letting it run the show without supervising it. It's like letting a toddler run around with a knife. It's very dangerous when you're not aware of your subconscious, your thoughts. But you can make up whatever you want. And that's why this is relevant to midlife, is because we go through a big change of being a parent, being a mom, and then our kids break up with us, dump us, leave us, whatever it is. And now we go into this identity crisis, but it doesn't have to be that way. I like to think of it as just stepping back and going like, who do I want to be now? And I think that's one of the reasons why I love to travel, which is interesting as I'm saying it out loud, because when I go to a new place, nobody knows me. So I can be whoever I want. I can create whatever I want, but I could do that here too. I could do that in my everyday life too. And that's what I practice. Oh, this isn't working for me? I'll create this instead. But it's an art form, and it's not taught in elementary school or by your parents because they don't understand it either. So the first step is being on to you. Like, you want to know, you want to see how your brain is working and that you're creating that thing for yourself. Be on to yourself and be like, there it is. I see my brain creating that for me, which is good if you like it. But if you don't, then it's no bueno and you want to change it. So the first is the awareness. Okay. Being the thinker of your thoughts. So I create the thoughts in my brain, but also being the watcher of your thoughts. So I'm like, I could see the thoughts that I'm creating in my brain. Are they serving me? Yes or no? Can I let them go? Yes or no? Can I change it? How do I want to feel instead? And at this conference, I learned how to do that through hypnotherapy, which is just using the brain in a different way, directing the brain in a different way. That's all it is. It's just taking your brain on a little journey, making some suggestions, and then creating new neural pathways. So the habits come from repetition. This is how I'm thinking, so this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm acting. And if we want to create something new, we just create a new neural pathway, and then repetition. We repeat it over and over and over again, because neurons that fire together wire together. So that's how you can create something new. But it doesn't happen after one time. You gotta repeat it over. It's repetition. Do it over and over and over again. So if you are walking down a sidewalk, the path is nice and clear, and it's easy to walk down the sidewalk. But if you go into the jungle and you want to make a path, you have to go down the path and clear it, and then you have to go down it over and over and over again to make it a nice, clear path that's easy to walk on. That's repetition. And that's the same thing as your brain. The first time you go down it, it's like the first time you go down the jungle and make the path. It's like, okay, it's a little bit clear, but there's still branches in your way and you're tripping hazards. And then after the 100th time that you've gone down that path, it's clear and it's easy to go down. So that's how your brain can go there quickly. So basically, you're building your myelin sheath, and the thicker it is, the faster you can access that in your brain. That's where the repetition comes in. That's why it's so important. And it's the same when you're trying to become a new version of yourself. You just want to access the feeling. What does it feel like to be that person already? Or to achieve that thing. So to be that person, that might be too much. Like to become that self-actualized version of yourself, that might be like overwhelming to start there. What if you just wanted to change one little thing? Then you would access that feeling. What would it be like to change that one little thing, or to do that one little thing? How would it feel? And call up that feeling and be curious about it. Where is it in my body? How does it move? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Does it have a taste? Does it have a color? Like all the things. And then that's how you access it from the somatic in your physical being. And then you want to attach it to whatever it is that you're doing or thinking, and create that reality for yourself. And that's how you can become a new person. It's just when we're trying something new, if we're not aware of it, if it's not on our consciousness, we go back to the old way. without realizing. So anytime we're consciously working on it, we can do it. But anytime we're not consciously working on it, I guarantee you we're back to the old unconscious version of it. Your subconscious mind thinks 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, but the conscious mind can only focus on 7 things plus or minus 2 at once. So the conscious brain is very focused, very limited in what it can focus on. But the subconscious, that's what's running the show. That's like everything is just running behind the scenes. So all you have to do in midlife, if you want to make a change, is bring your awareness to what you want to change. And then create that in your imagination. And imagine you've already achieved that goal. What does that feel like? And then you bring those feelings into the every moment, everyday moment. And that's how you create that for yourself. That's how you become the best midlife version of you. Just keep recreating yourself. If you don't like what you just created in this moment, no problem. There's a next moment to create something even better. And I get super excited when I talk about this because this means that anything is possible. I always say, if you can think it or dream it in your brain, then it's possible for you. And people would be in their brain like, yeah, Heather, but how? Here's how. This is how we do it. We create it. We conjure up the feeling. And then we just do that over and over and over again. And remember too, when the universe is just energy. And so if we're trying to achieve something, that is an energetic level. And if we, in this moment, can vibrate at that same energetic level, we will attract it to us quicker. So like attracts like. So if you want that faster, be more of it in your everyday. In a relationship, if you're looking for a relationship, you want to become that person that you want to be in a relationship with, because then you're vibrating at that level and that energy will find you. So it's just so amazing and so powerful. And you can do all of this. So if it seems overwhelming or hard or you don't know how, then find somebody that can help you. Come into my community. That's why I created this community, because as midlife moms, we're in this huge state of change. Everything is up in the air. Our hormones, our physical bodies, our families as we know it, our life purpose, what we do with our time, how we see ourselves, all of it is just up in the air. And so it really is helpful to be in a community of like-minded women who are there to listen and support, who will be like, yeah, I hear you, sister. I got you. Same here. I feel the same way. Here's what I did. And I've created this community called Mastering Midlife. The exciting part is I have a new 5-day challenge coming out next week. So you can get in on this. This is the gateway to get into the community. I teach you like the structure, the framework of my system. And then you can, from there, you can get into the community where everybody has your back. And there's so many ideas and so much support, and there's weekly trainings. This, I really, really believe that what the world needs now, and I feel like singing when I say that, but I can't sing, so I won't. But what the world needs now is community, more community, because you can see that everybody's becoming divided on purpose, just because when people are divided, they're just it's easier to control people when they're divided. But together, I believe that the most powerful and important population in the world today is the moms, the mothers, the midlife mothers. And if we could come together and support each other and lift each other up, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Imagine a world where midlife moms are stepping into their power and know their worth. Imagine what a beautiful place the world would be. And it starts with you, my friend. Just one thought at a time. You can do or become anybody you want to. You can create any kind of life, any kind of adventure that you want in this moment. If you need help with that, please reach out to me. I got you. I would love for you to become a member of my Mastering Midlife community. Thank you for listening. Always, always, always love yourself first and have an amazing day.